Good morning, everybody. George Williams Sr. here. Today I got some chains to sharpen, so I'm going to show you a little bit of stuff about that. First thing I do is I find the yellow tab on my chain where the link has been put together, and I take a little silver Sharpie pen and I kind of color that on both sides so I know once I've been all the way around I'm pretty much done with this chain. Next thing I do, I come up to my first tooth, get it adjusted to my grinding wheel. This one's getting a little thin on teeth, but still got a bit to go. And get it lined up in there to where it looks like it's about where it needs to be. And I'm going to tune up my wheel. Tune up my wheel by shaping it with the shaping rods in here to get the right angle for my tooth cut. I'm going to shape off the top. That gives me a nice clean top line, and then I'm going to shape off the gullet edge. And now my stone is cleaned up and ready to grind. Slow that down with my glove knuckle, not my skin. And make sure that we're still good. And it's looking pretty good there. Now we're going to start sharpening these teeth. So the trick to this is a square chisel grind, is where the tooth comes up and where it comes across. You want to meet the corner of your stone right in the corner of that tooth. And then the angle of your cut for your tooth depends on your preference. Everybody's a little bit different in this profession, so you got to find what feels good for you. Make your adjustments as needed. Dial it in. Once you get into that corner, good enough. Now the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to grind and just into that tooth and get the tooth glowing, because once you start that tooth glowing, you're taking the temper out of that tooth and it won't hold an edge very well. So work your way around. So you just want to touch it, let the tooth cool. You never want to get the tooth hot. You want to keep it cool. Take off as little as possible, but as much as necessary. And once you got it in there, don't take any more. It's really important to have a good light so you create that shadow and you can tell exactly where the edge of the stone is on the corner to the corner of your tooth. So when you're grinding your chain, don't think of it as grinding my chain. Think of it as polishing the tooth. All right, I'm going to finish up on this side, then I'll get back to you on the other side. All right, I've gone all the way around on this side. I'm going to turn this off. And the one thing, if you have a professional grinder, you want to avoid creating wang on your tooth. Now, wang is when you're grinding your chain and there's a little bit of flake that just kind of hangs on the edge and it kind of curls up. It's like a hangnail on your tooth. A way you can avoid that is go gently and slowly. Don't grind into it. And if all possible, if you've got a grinder that will grind into the tooth instead of out of the tooth, it'll reduce that, creating that wang. So if you've got a nice professional grinder, you want to grind into the tooth instead of out of the tooth. And the nice thing about this is this has a switch. If I flip it to the side that I'm grinding on, it's spinning into the tooth. I'm going to go over to the other side, take my next tooth, set it up, and all I have to do is just flip it to the other side, and I'm ready to go on the other side. Another thing that'll cause wang is if you have a dirty stone. If your stone starts to where it's turning black, it's building up with oil and grease and grime and whatever, then it starts burning on your tooth, and that will create wang, which will dull your chain a little faster too. So we're going to go ahead and start on the other side. I'm going to flip that the other direction. Starts it spinning the other way. And again, you want to just be very gentle. Don't excessively grind. And just think about polishing the tooth, not grinding the tooth. A light touch is a better touch. I'll be right back. And there you have it. Got it ground on both sides. Still got a couple more chains to do, and then tomorrow we'll be slaying some giants. So it's hard to see in this light. But anyway, next thing I do is I check my rakers, and I basically just eyeball them. And I took those down pretty much good enough. My gullets I took out the other day. There could be a little more taken out of it now, but not going to worry about that for now. And anyway, if you ever wonder how professional timber fallers get those razor sharp saws, and their saws are just pulling a lot of worms out instead of sawdust, this is the machine that does it. And it doesn't matter how good a cutter you are. It's like good coffee. The secret is in the grind. All right, this is George Williams Sr. Sharing some tips with you. Talk to you again on the next video.